Good evening to it's evening here. I don't know what time it is when you see this video. I don't even have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. I just want to talk about something. And okay, I think I'm going to pick a topic. I'm going to talk about addiction. Addiction. Addiction is something that almost every adult, teenager, young man, young woman suffers with. Now, I have an addiction. Although I have a non-addictive personality, I ended up having an addiction with something. Now, I'll talk more about this addiction in another video. Today, I want to talk about addiction in a broader aspect. Addiction. What are you addicted to? Addiction is something that is just, I'm not trying to define addiction. I'm trying to just tell you how most people feel about addiction. Addiction is something that it's so crazy. You know it's bad for you. Like, there's no doubt you know this is bad for you. That is not a question of a doubt. Yet you can't help yourself but keep doing the exact same thing that keeps hurting you. Now, I know there's sugar addiction. There's porn addiction. There's alcohol addiction. There's weed addiction. There's drug addiction. Everybody has some addiction that they go through. It could be a person. It could be a person that you know is so bad for you, a relationship that is so bad for you, but you're stuck in there because you're addicted. Now, addiction is something that usually comes in some sort of like a good feeling you get when you do something, maybe porn, maybe sweets. It's a good feeling that harms the body in the long term. But because you love the good feeling it gives you, and you hate the withdrawal you feel after not having it, you give into your emotions. Now, a human that can break an addiction is a master human. You have to be a master human to break your addiction without, like, cold turkey. For me, I've come across so many addictions, like sugar addiction. Now, with sugar addiction so far, for me, the most I did break out of it was like 40 days. So I still eat sugar to this day. But I know my limits. I wouldn't necessarily drink 3 cans of pop. One a day, one every 2 days is good. But I used to go like 3 times a day. Yeah. I know a friend that sniffs some white stuff. Now, I don't want to say like I hang out with this person on a regular. No, it's a friend that I knew, and I realized they do that, and I was like, okay, but I can't really have you around me because then you might give me that, whatever. Anyway, I know this person. This person is one ambitious guy, very, very ambitious, very driven. Everything, like, he's like perfect on paper, but he has an addiction. Because of his addiction, his sniffing addiction, everything he makes goes out the drain. He makes this, comes his way, he spends all that money that way. So it's literally like garbage in, garbage out. He wants to stop. We all want him to stop. Everybody that knows him wants to stop. But breaking through that cycle of the addiction is something he fights every day. It's like when the feeling for what you're addicted to comes, like you want to have it. Like, that is going to stop you. Once you have it and then you're done and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? That feeling of you knowing that, like me, the way I conquer certain addictions is putting myself in the after feeling of what I'm going to feel when that is done. That always prevents me from going through the addiction. For example, if it's, let's say porn, for example. Once you're done doing your deed, you usually feel guilty after. Almost everyone that does it feels guilty after, except for a few people. But once you watch porn and then you do what you're doing, you usually feel guilty after. That guilty feeling is your higher self telling you something that, hey, what you're wasting natural stuff. You're wasting life-creating tool in your socks or on your, like, you're just wasting that away. You just basically put life-creating substance out of your body for 5-second pleasure. you know it's bad for you. Like, you know long term it's going to harm you. And some people live with the consequences and still can't beat the addiction. Alcohol addiction. I know a family member that battles a lot with alcohol addiction. This person has suffered 2 strokes from alcohol addiction. Guess what? They still drink to this day. You think they want to keep getting stroke? No. You think they like getting stroke? No. It's just, that's why I said in the beginning that whoever can master control an addiction by themselves without any help is like a master, like you're a master human. Knowing that something feels really good, but feels bad after, but you just can't shake it off. It's got to be one of like the hardest things any adult human can face. I just don't know how. For me, if you ask me what is one way to battle an addiction, I'm just gonna tell you, don't open the door, because it just sucks that if you don't know what you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. That is one good thing I learned as an adult in life. If you don't know something, don't get curious. Don't do it, because you might do it and out of curiosity, there you go. Sometimes some doors are left unopened. You should just leave them closed. Just leave them closed. Because I'm telling you, trying to be curious and opening that door can be the door that opens your misfortune. Could be the door that shuts off all your opportunities. Could be the door that puts you down. Could be the door that stops you from being the person you're meant to be. So, my advice to anyone that is coming up now, if you're a teenager seeing this video, any addiction, any sort of fun thing you know people will struggle with in the future, for example, could be alcohol. If you know that someone in your family struggles with alcohol, the best way to not be an addict is to avoid it. Because having alcohol and it being fun can be the thing that makes you retarded for the rest of your life, to make sure the thing that makes you unambitious. It could be weed. If you know that people around you are addicted to weed and you're coming up now, avoid it. If it's porn, avoid it. I know it's just simple for me to say avoid it. But sometimes the best way to cure an addiction is to prevent it from happening to begin with. Because some addictions it's just a big rabbit hole you can come out of. And the funny thing is, every day that you relapse, every day you dig a hole deeper. So for example, you've been smoking for 30 days. It's harder to quit at day 30 than it takes to quit at 2 years in. People have done it successfully, yes. But the more you do it, the more you get addicted, the more you reinforce the belief that this is something I'm going to do forever. Addiction is one scary thing. Like, it's just so scary, knowing well. Like, and you know what's funny about addictions? You can't really judge someone when they go into an addiction. Like, when I see any addict, like, it could be drug addicts. I've never judged a drug addict ever. Just because they were addicted to drugs and then I'm addicted to something else doesn't mean that what they're addicted to is, like, yes, there's worse addictions. There's a scale, there's a spectrum of which is worse. But it's basically they're addicted to something that's really bad for them, and I'm addicted to something that's not as bad, but it's still an addiction. We're both fighting. So I can't just see them and say, oh, look at this dirty, low human. No. That could have been you if you had that drug. Maybe were just not curious enough. You're fortunate enough to not be in the wrong circle. You were just one bad friend away from being like them. So if you see any drug addicts today, any addicts going through anything, just show sympathy. And it's just easy to say, come on, grow up and do this and do that and do this. But it's not that easy. Addictions, I can't tell you, like, it's just your logical mind knows that, like, this is bad. Like, your logical mind knows you know that this is bad. Yet you just can't help yourself. And it's not like it's done to you. You do it yourself. You willingly pick something and just stab yourself with it. It's just so sad as an adult going through that. Of anyone going through an addiction today, all I can tell you is you can come out of the other side. It's possible. It's been done. So many people have done it. you can do it too. It's not impossible. Impossible is nothing. It's been done several times by people. You can do it too. There were certain things I was addicted to that I think I couldn't come out of. I've come out of it. I will talk more about that in the next video, in another video. But today is just addiction in general. I know, it's tough. It's tough being addicted to something. It could be coffee. I know coffee addicts that swear they're not addicts, but then don't give them coffee in the morning and that goes them going crazy. It could be anything. You never know. If you know anybody going through something, any addict, just be there for them. Just be a supporting build for them. You don't have to knock them down. We're all going through it. This life thing, like I say, it's the first time we're all doing it. Let's be there for each other as we go through this. And if you're an addict, always remember that you can get over it. I always leave my videos by saying this. I can and I will. Watch me. That's why I always wear something like that. I can and I will. Watch me. You can and you will fight the addiction. Let's get it.